wonder what you are. Up above the sky so bright, like a diamond in the sky twinkle.
Good morning, Miss Zuri. My name is Tina Heavens and I'm an independent film producer. I've been researching child abuse within the African community and I came across your story and I really wonder whether you'd be...
Stop right there. First, my name is not Miss Zuri because Zuri is my first name. Secondly, I definitely do want you watching in on me like this. However, having read about some of your documentaries and the good work you're trying to accomplish, I shall grant you an interview, but on my own terms and in my own time. Besides, it's about time my story got told.
Thank you very much, Miss Zuri.
Just call me Zuri.
Thank you, Zuri.
Don't thank me yet. You don't know what you're going to get. Be here next week Monday at 9 a.m. on the dot. Don't be late. Good day to you.
Thank you. Thank you, madam.
I should warn you that I have a lot of things to get through today. So if you want this interview really badly, then you will have to go through my day with me. Though if that is not workable for you, then we might as well stop now.
I'm really not in a position to make demands, so your wish is my command.
That's what I like to hear. Now, I'm all yours. Fire away.
Thank you. Zuri Sanderson, you started your life 21 years ago today. Actually, happy birthday. And take us through the journey that has brought you here. Who is Zuri Sanderson?
My life started on a day, much like today. I must say how the years seem to have passed quite quickly.
That morning, a lovely little girl who was later to be named Zuri was born. I never really stopped crying because the pain never did stop until many, many, many years later. Life can indeed be a bitch. As little Zuri was coming into life, her mother was leaving it, but by no choice of her own. In case you're still wondering, my mother died the same day I was born. Yes, I'm Zuri, some 21 odd years later. My name means beautiful in Swahili. Seeing myself as beautiful was a long learning process, as you'll come to understand. I'm South African, at least that's where I was born to the day 21 years ago. Although I do sometimes wonder if I could still be considered South African, having lived in so many different parts of the world since leaving South Africa as a mere child. My extended family? No one cared enough to want to sacrifice their meager means of livelihood to raise little Zuri. That's how I ended up in a home, and that's where my journey with the Vandenberg family started. It has been many years of emotional pain for me. My saga began when I was just over 4 years old. I know you are wondering, how could she possibly remember what happened when she was that young? I know it sounds almost unbelievable, but it's true. Somehow the sordid memories of John Vandenberg molesting me remains encrusted in my memory. Almost like it happened just yesterday. Yet it was over 17 years ago and it went on for 12 more years. I had no voice. I had no one to help me. I was just a baby, but my stepmother didn't care about me. The child she and my stepfather adopted, to her I was just a slave child. Sometimes I think she must have hated me. Perhaps to her I was nothing but a black Kafir baby whom she adopted for her predatory husband to keep his behavior wrapped indoors. I don't know. Maybe I never will, but I still sometimes wonder.
Do you sometimes... Hello? Thank you. Excuse me. So where was I?
Yes, I was their sacrificial lamb. I was the unlucky orphan child that the Vandenbergs chose to adopt. For love? For a chance to give an unfortunate and disadvantaged child a better opportunity, you ask? No. No such luck for little Zuri. No such luck for me. For Zuri, life had a whole different painting for the canvas. For me, it was going to be many years of questioning the Redeemer. Why? Oh, why did you make me? For Zuri, it wasn't because the Vandenbergs loved her. No, not at all. But because Mrs. Vandenberg needed to keep dear John in check, away from the public eye, and because John Vandenberg needed a slave. As simple as that. At least for them it was. Kafir. You're wondering what kafir means. It is a racial slur for describing black people that was once widely accepted among Afrikaans in South Africa during the apartheid years. The memories of those scenes come to me almost like a nightmare. The only difference being that I'm usually awake when I have these flashes. They happen suddenly with no warnings at all. Yes, I literally start to see the scenes play out before me like a video. Thank God they no longer come on as often as they used to. Now, would you like me to tell you what I see? I warn you, it isn't pretty. The image remains quite strong in my mind. This man and woman in our orphanage, they are pointing at me. One of the nurses smiles, walks over and picks me up. She hands me over to the woman whom at the time I had no idea would become my stepmother. She in turn strokes my cheeks. As she does this, she is smiling at me, but her eyes are cold. This lasts perhaps a few seconds, but it felt like an age. She then hands me back to the nurse to my relief, but that was short-lived. My heart was beating so fast as I left the orphanage with the Vandenbergs that I was sure everyone could hear it. I kept looking back, hoping that one of the nurses would come and take me back to the safety of my room, but the more I hoped, the further we walked away from the place I had seen as my home for 4 years. Mr. Vandenberg is standing by the door. I can feel him watching me, although my back is turned to the door. I am praying that if I shut my eyes tight enough and pretend to be sleeping, he will go away. But that was only wishful thinking, because he reaches for the bed cover, and that's when I collapsed. Dear Tina, you are forcing many memories that I had pushed back to the recesses of my mind. I think it's time for a well-deserved cup of tea, wouldn't you say? What then happened after you collapsed? I asked myself so many times, couldn't he see that I was just a baby? Barely 4 years old? How could he do this to a baby, his own adopted child? I cannot tell you what it felt like. The pain was unimaginable and I screamed as loudly as my little voice could allow. It felt like a knife was tearing my insides. I will never forget seeing my stepmother come into the room, look at me, and walk away. I couldn't believe she was walking away and leaving me at the mercy of a monster. Isn't she meant to be my mother by law? Why is she not coming to my rescue? I wondered in pain. Even at 21, these images are always with me. They play like a film in my head, not like random thoughts, but like structured scenes pieced together in a chronological fashion. I see many images of Mr. Vandenberg sexually abusing me up to when I was 16 years old. It was then that I decided to run away from home. In one of these scenes in my head, I see us going from one foreign country to another. In each, he continues to abuse me. I see my nanny. Oh, she is a very kind woman. She takes care of me. I love her very much and always want to stay with her. She stays with us for many years until one day, my stepmother is very angry, but I don't know why.
Hello? Yes, it is. Yes. What?
I notice she is snapping at the nanny a lot, at every opportunity. On this particular day, she is screaming at the nanny and asking why she told lies against her husband to the police.
So it was you that called the authorities. I knew it!
Although my stepmother is screaming, she's sounding scared, and I believe deep inside she was concerned that my nanny would tell more people. So later, on that same day, they fire my nanny. My sadness grows when Mama tells me that she will be leaving me. Yes, I call her Mama because she is the closest one I ever had. After Jesus, she is the only other one who ever loved me. My stepmother doesn't care about what my stepfather is doing to me. She just wants to cover up his crime. These were the only thoughts I had during those horrible times. I'm sure you don't need me to tell you that the Vandenbergs never really loved me. My stepmother, she's like a pit bull. Although she always pretends to people that she's a nice and gentle woman, she's more like the Jezebel woman mentioned in the Bible. This scene plays out quite long in my head. After we've had a good cry, before she leaves, Mama tells me that she has told some people about what my stepfather is doing to me. She says they are good people who will help me and take me away from the Vandenbergs. It's done with me. I'm bleeding in between my legs. Who would save me? Who would save little Zuri, the orphan child?
Hey, Dinah. Are you alright?
I'm fine.
I did warn you that it wouldn't be pretty, but we're almost done.
There are many women you see in the streets. Like me, they appear talented, confident, and in their prime, knowing exactly which way they're going in life. Mind you, it has been some years since John Vandenberg received a 35-year jail term for what he did to me and some others, and his wife, my stepmother, was sentenced to 15 years for supporting him in the abuse and covering up his crime. The real question is, are we confident women who know where we are headed? Oh, believe me when I tell you that there are many of us out there and the struggle is far from over. My pain remains encrusted in me. There are still many questions I battle with in my head. How could God have taken my blood parents and left me to be an orphan as a baby? Why did he allow two people who did not love me to adopt me? The answers to my questions I still don't know. Though I have gone from being angry with God to asking him for help to heal. Many nights I cry and ask him to lift my sorrow. I ask God to give me his grace to forgive my stepfather and mother. Some of you watching right now are probably asking, how could she ever forgive? She can't. She shouldn't. Could I ever forgive them? I sometimes wondered, but tell me, what would my life be if I didn't? I pray for physical healing from the precious blood of Jesus. I ask him to make me whole again. I ask him for relief from all the years of deep emotional pain. I remember praying daily to him to make me feel beautiful again. After all, he named me Zuri. He heard. He healed me. Yes, once in a while I still think about the Vandenbergs, and who knows, maybe one day I just might visit them in prison. The most important thing is that I forgive. It's hard to believe, but the honest truth is, when I think about the Vandenbergs, I don't feel angry or bitter anymore. The precious blood of Christ has lifted the burden of unforgiveness and released me from its bondage.